They said the Whispering Woods held secrets no one could fathom. I wish I'd never ventured there. I remember the day vividly. It was late summer, the air thick with humidity and the trees whispering secrets in the wind. A friend had dared me to explore the abandoned cabin deep within those woods. We laughed nervously as we approached, the sun casting long shadows that danced eerily on the forest floor. The cabin stood like a relic of forgotten times, its windows shattered and roof sagging under years of neglect. As we stepped inside, a chill crept up my spine. The air was heavy with dust and decay, and the silence was suffocating. That's when I heard it, the faintest whisper, like a sigh carried on the breeze. My friend froze, eyes wide with fear. We exchanged nervous glances, but no one else was there. It was as if the very woods were speaking to us, telling tales of long-buried secrets and ancient curses. We hurriedly left, but the whispers followed me home. That night, as I lay in bed, I could still hear them, a soft murmur that filled the darkness, promising nightmares I couldn't escape. The Whispering Woods had claimed me, its secrets forever haunting my dreams. A missed train led to an unforgettable evening with a talented street musician. One Friday evening, I was rushing to catch the last train home after a long day at work. To my dismay, I arrived just as the train doors closed, leaving me stranded at the station. Frustrated, I sat on a nearby bench, trying to figure out what to do next. As I pondered my options, I heard the faint strumming of a guitar. Curious, I followed the sound to the entrance of the station, where a street musician was playing. His music was mesmerizing, and despite my initial frustration, I found myself drawn to his performance. I sat down on a bench nearby, letting the soothing melodies wash over me. As the evening progressed, more people gathered around, creating an impromptu audience. The musician played a mix of classic hits and original songs, each one better than the last. He even took requests, delighting the crowd with his versatility and skill. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter and applause. At one point, he invited the audience to join in, handing out simple percussion instruments. Hesitant at first, we soon found ourselves clapping, tapping, and singing along. It was a magical experience, bringing strangers together through the universal language of music. By the time the musician finished his set, I had forgotten all about the missed train. I felt a sense of community and joy that I hadn't experienced in a long time. I even made a few new friends, bonding over our shared experience. The evening turned out to be one of the most memorable of my life, all thanks to a missed train and a talented busker. In the old mansion behind a hidden door lay a room untouched by time. What I found inside still haunts me. The mansion loomed over the town, its grandeur faded with age. Rumors spoke of a hidden room, sealed off for decades, where the wealthy family's darkest secrets lay buried. Intrigued, I sneaked in one moonless night, armed with nothing but a flashlight and curiosity. Finding the hidden door took hours, concealed behind a tapestry heavy with dust. The air grew colder as I stepped into the forgotten room. Cobwebs draped every surface, and antique furniture gathered dust like memories lost to time. But it was the paintings that caught my eye, portraits of a family whose eyes seemed to follow my every move. Their smiles were frozen masks, hiding something sinister beneath. As I turned to leave, a voice whispered in my ear, a name long forgotten but achingly familiar. I fled the mansion that night, but the faces haunted my dreams. Who were they, and what secrets did they guard in that forgotten room? I never found out, but the feeling of eyes watching me lingered, a reminder that some doors should never be opened. They said the hospital closed due to budget cuts, but what I discovered in its depths was far more chilling. The abandoned hospital stood on the outskirts of town, a relic of a bygone era. Its windows were boarded up and weeds choked the once manicured gardens. Curiosity got the better of me one rainy afternoon, and I slipped through a gap in the fence, heart pounding with anticipation. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of decay and disinfectant. Patient files lay scattered like confetti, their contents lost to time. As I explored deeper, I stumbled upon the basement, a labyrinth of forgotten corridors and rusted gurneys. That's when I heard it, the sound of footsteps echoing through the darkness. I froze, heart in my throat as a figure emerged from the shadows. Their eyes were vacant, clothes tattered and stained with old blood. They stared at me with a hunger that chilled me to the bone. I ran, stumbling over debris and echoing screams that weren't there. The hospital had held on to its secrets, but I had glimpsed the darkness within. The figure haunted my thoughts, a reminder that some places are best left undisturbed, their histories buried for a reason. They said the school closed after a tragedy, but what I found in its empty halls was a lesson in fear. The abandoned school stood silent and desolate, its playground overgrown with weeds and memories. It had closed years ago, whispers of a tragedy that stained its halls with sorrow. Intrigued by the stories, I ventured inside one moonlit night, the only sounds my own footsteps echoing in the darkness. The classrooms were frozen in time, desks covered in dust and chalkboards marked with lessons long forgotten. But it was the auditorium that drew me, the stage bathed in eerie moonlight, its curtains swaying as if touched by unseen hands. As I climbed the creaking stairs to the stage, I heard laughter. A child's laughter, pure and innocent. My breath caught in my throat as I turned, expecting to see a ghost from the past. Instead, I saw nothing but empty seats and shadows dancing in the moonlight. But the laughter continued, growing louder and more playful. Fear gripped me as I realized I was not alone. The school had kept its children's spirits, trapped in a cycle of joy and despair. I fled, heart pounding, the laughter echoing in my ears long after I left.